Hello and welcome to another video here at Hobbies and Happiness. I'm Dan.
And I'm Jim, and today we're going over Nova's Hero Pack.
Alright, so as promised, we're a little bit late, but that's okay. We're going over the Nova Hero Pack reveal from January. I think it was late January when Nova was revealed. So let's just dive right in and really start talking about Nova and his cards that have been revealed. We're excited. Nova looks pretty sweet. However, before we get into it, if you need to pick up any Marvel Champions packs, core set, anything you need, check the description below for links to pretty much everything that's out there right now. If you need to pick up some sleeves, check out the sleeves that we use and recommend. Well, at least I recommend them. Check them out down below in the description as well. Anything else you need, just check down there. And yeah, if you need some sleeves, go ahead and pick up yourselves a couple boxes of sleeves. So, all right, without any further ado, let's just jump right in. So Nova. So Nova, the big thing with Nova is he cares about your resources. He cares about wild resources. So we did talk about this a little bit in the Ironheart video, which if you have not checked that out yet, check that out in the card and in the description down below. Ironheart cared a lot about energy resources. Yeah. Now, and it wasn't necessarily Ironheart per se. Actually, Ironheart, Riri, she cared about the mental resources.
Yeah, at the start. Yeah.
At the start, right. But in her modular encounter set, Zax, he cared about your energy resources.
Yep.
Okay. So Nova, he cares more about your wild resources. And we'll see that in a lot of these cards that we talk about. So before we do that, let's talk about Nova and his alter ego, Sam Alexander. So his identity, so Sam Alexander is the alter ego for him. So he has a hand size of 6 and hit points of 10, pretty standard. Recovery of 3, also pretty standard. So he has a civilian trait, and he has alter ego action. You can spend 1 resource of any type, search your deck and discard pile for Supernova Helmet, add it to your hand. Put it into play instead if you paid for this ability using a wild resource. So that's pretty good.
That's a pretty good effect.
So and then Jim, why don't you read the hero side? Why don't you read Nova?
Yeah. Nova, he is a champion as well. Hand size 5, HP 10. Thort 1 attack, 2 defense. Response: after you use one of Nova's basic powers, so thwart, attack, or defend, ready Supernova Helmet. So
I feel like we can't talk about this without talking about the helmet, right? Yeah. So let's talk about the helmet, all right? So his helmet, Supernova Helmet, it's a 1-cost upgrade. Okay, it's armor, and it says Nova gains the aerial trait. Okay, hero resource. Exhaust Supernova Helmet, generate a wild resource. Okay, so those 3 cards. Okay, these abilities and these resource types or resource generators, it's not totally new, right? So for the identity, right, Nova and Sam Alexander are pretty close to 2 heroes that we've seen so far in Thor and Hawkeye, Clint Barton. Okay, so Thor and Odinson. So Odinson, right, with Thor, he has the worthy action. Search your deck and discard pile for the Mjolnir upgrade and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Limit once per round. So very similar type effect. Now Mjolnir does not operate the same as the helmet. Mjolnir basically is a weapon and boosts your attack. Okay. So now the hero form is not similar to Nova at all for Thor. The best comparison that we have so far is Hawkeye and Clint Barton. Okay, so Clint Barton, okay, his ability is weapon of choice, action. Spend 1 resource of any type, search your deck and discard pile for Hawkeye's bow and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Limit once per phase. Okay, pretty similar. Okay,
all good effects.
Right. But the Sam Alexander in this case is strictly better, because you can put that directly into play.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Clint Barton, you only can get it to your hand, which is still good, mind you. Definitely still good. Okay. But you can't put his bow directly into play. Okay. So now the hero form for Hawkeye is quick draw, action, exhaust Hawkeye, ready Hawkeye's bow. Again, very similar to Nova, right? But with Nova, it's essentially a response, right? And it triggers after you do your basic attack. So Nova wants you to be using his basic abilities and basic powers in order to ready the helmet, okay?
Yep.
So far, again, nothing brand new, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Because these are all very good effects, okay? I do like, before we even talk about the helmet, I do like how they changed it up a little bit. We did talk about this in the Ironheart video, but the design is just continually getting better and better, and I feel like FFG is learning a lot of good things and continually implementing them here. So now the helmets, okay? Supernova Helmet. Very similar to other things that we've seen so far. But before we do that, let's look right at the helmet, okay? All good things, right? It's one cost. It's a one cost upgrade, okay? Now, right away, it gives you aerial. Okay, now that, in and of itself, does nothing, okay? So you need to be able to, go off with being aerial, okay? So immediately you're thinking, in deck building, you want cards that care about you being aerial, which there are plenty of cards in this pack that have been revealed that we'll talk about. But when you're deck building, search for things that care about you being aerial, right? Which there's plenty out there, right? But just alone that it gives you aerial is good, okay? It gives you, it does give you attack benefits, and it also does give you defensive benefits as well, because there are cards that care about whether or not you're aerial, right? Now, the only real downside to this, okay, is it is not a general resource. It is a hero resource. So already more restrictive. It's already more restrictive use and less general. But, you know, Jim, you and I were talking about this. We feel like Nova as a character wants you to be in hero form. Doesn't really want you to be in alter ego form.
That's what it seems like, because we look at Sam's ability. Sure, he can, do the basic recover, but then his ability is just go get the helmet. Well, the helmet is a hero resource as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And then his hero ability also says that after you use anything, thwart, attack, or defend, you ready up the helmet. So probably trying to stay in hero as much as possible.
And it's not like he has an insane amount of recovery like She-Hulk of 5 or something, right? So his stats they're essentially baseline, and in some circumstances lower than baseline, right? But I mean, with HP of 10, that's really right around the norm. Okay, it's not like if it were 9, that's on the lower side, right? But 10 is right around the norm for a lot of these heroes. So it's. And again, the 3 recovery, very, very base, very, very general, okay? So that upgrade, okay, that resource generator of an upgrade, we've seen that in a few things, okay? You've got biokinetic polymer suit from Miss Marvel, 1 cost upgrade, again, hero resource. You exhaust the polymer suit, generate a wild resource, but that's for an event. So that's even more restrictive, okay? But Miss Marvel, I'm very excited to play Miss Marvel. I haven't built any decks around her yet, but she's very, very cool, and we'll talk about her a little bit later. But again, not only is that upgrade a hero resource, it is also, you can only generate that for an event, okay? That's same with Hawkeye's bow, I believe. I believe his bow is you can generate it, a wild resource, but it has to be for a bow event. So even more restrictive, okay? Now, you've got the Eye of Agamotto as well. The Eye of Agamotto, 2 cost upgrade, but it is a hero resource, generate a wild resource, okay? Supernova Helmet is strictly better in the fact that it's 1 cost, but also gives you aerial. In comparing it to the Eye of Agamotto, you also have Solar Gem from Vision, 2 cost upgrade, Vision gains aerial, resource, exhaust Solar Gem, generate a wild resource. So a little bit worse than Solar Gem. And then you have Web Shooter, again from the core set for Spider-Man, a 1 cost upgrade. Now, you only have 3 uses, and it is a hero resource. Okay, so it's not, you can only use it for an event. And then you have Karmic Staff from Adam Warlock, 2 cost upgrade. You exhaust the staff, generate a wild resource. Okay, so we've seen this effect in a lot of heroes before. Nothing real new there, but again, it's not bad. And then also Captain America and the Super Soldier Serum. 2-cost upgrade resource. You exhaust. The serum generate a physical resource. So it's out there. But this one in particular, more restrictive than general use. But again, is that a bad thing? Yes. Obviously, I mean, you would want it to be more general as you can. But again, that opens up. Well, I shouldn't say it opens up, but it gives you interesting questions that you have to answer during the course of a game. Okay, and as strategy card game players, we like that, right? So that's definitely something to think about. Before we move on to these other cards, do you have any other additional thoughts about basically these 3 cards?
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit before, and it's like the fact that you can now search for this card and throw it, potentially just put it out onto the battlefield for 1 wild resource, or put it into your hand and then you can pay 1 more to then play it as well. It's pretty good.
We talked about this before too. So we talked about, like, how do you think it would feel to have Helmet in your opening hand?
Yeah.
My thought, what I had said was, I don't think you want to have Supernova Helmet in your opening hand, okay? And my reasoning was, I don't want that taking up a card slot in my hand when I have a very easy way of searching for it, right?
Yeah.
So that was my initial thought. But through talking about it, the thought was, okay, mostly was that thought of, I don't want it taking up a card spot in my hand when I can search for it, okay? But it costs 1. So you have to pay the 1 to play it, okay?
Which is going to be that 1 card that replaced it.
Correct. So so you have to pay the 1. You're always going to have to pay at minimum 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Worst case, you pay 2 for it. Again, it's going to be dependent upon what's going on board if you're going to want to pay the 2. In my mind, I would say never pay 2 for it. Right.
It's also the case of, all right, normally you're probably going to throw it back into the deck if you see that you have a wild card. Or is it partial mulligan or is it full mull?
Partial.
Okay,
It's partial.
so if you see that you have a wild resource in your hand, you're like, okay, now let's put this back into the deck, get a new card, spend the wild resource, bring it out onto the field automatically, and then you still have that other new card as well.
Yeah. And there's a couple other cards that we'll talk about that kind of go into this exact scenario and this exact thought, which is even more exciting, honestly. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot, again, so many questions that you need to answer in the moment as you're playing to determine, what's going to be good. So ultimately, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing to have Helmet in your opening hand. It's not. But just the fact that you have that ability to go search for it and put it directly onto the field, it's like it is in your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like it's in your hand, right? And that is always a good thing. Okay. Honestly, it's like having multiple copies of the helmet. Okay. It really is, because the fact that you can pay 1 wild resource to put it directly onto the field, that turns all of your cards that are wild resources into a copy of the card paying for the helmet.
Oh yeah, because you also get it from discard pile as well. So then all you have to do is pay the wild resource for it, then put it straight onto the field.
It will never be not searchable unless you're playing a villain or scenario that makes it like that. Or it could be you're playing Ultron, okay, and a villain like that to where turning your cards against you into drones. So in the unlikely event, I shouldn't even say unlikely, because it could be very likely to where that card is the first one that is a bot that you have to defeat. That would feel really bad.
And then you're like, well, I gotta get it back.
Right, exactly. So, all right, well, Jim, do you want to talk about the first event that we're going to talk about here?
I want to talk about the next one, because I like that one more.
Okay, all right, I'll talk about the first one. These are all really great, though.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is Lightspeed Flight. It is a 2-cost event. It is a superpower authority. It has a mental resource on it. The first line of text, okay, is very. You're going to see it a lot on Nova's cards. Double the number of wild resources generated while paying for this card. that is fantastic. Okay, that can turn all of your cards that have one wild resource on it.
Helmet.
Yeah, right. but also turns them into strength, energy, and genius.
Yeah.
Those cards, which is fantastic. Okay. And we haven't even talked about what the card actually does. Right? It's a hero action and it's a thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. So again, so when you're paying for it with a wild resource, it essentially turns it into a 1 cost event for removing 3 threat, which in that analysis is really good.
Yep.
Okay. 2 costs for 3, not super exciting, but it does something, right? But it's still good. Okay. But if I'm paying 1 for removing 3, that's pretty good. That's really good. That's how I look at it, and that's how I look at evaluating this event. But yeah, so go ahead, talk about the next one.
Pot Shot is very similar to Lightspeed Flight. It's 2 cost event attack superpower, and then it has the same ability of double the number of wild resource generated while paying for this card. Hero action attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. Yep. I'm all about dealing this damage.
No, but okay, so let's take that analysis that I just said and apply it to this. 1 cost for 4, that is really good.
Sign me up.
That is really good. And honestly, I think that's a proper way you can evaluate these. Because again, you can pay for it with 2, right? So you pay 2 for 4, okay, which is
still
that's
good.
Standard. That's pretty standard, I think. Because Haymaker, I believe
2
is
3?
2 for 3.
I believe
it
so.
It might be 2 for 3, right? Yeah. So already you're paying 2 for 4, but the ability to pay 1 for 4, sign me up every single time.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I see all of those double the number of raw resources generated while paying for this card on all of Nova's cards, that's awesome. That's going to be really good. You're going to want to load up your deck with the wild resources. And honestly, like, who wouldn't? Like, you're going to want to do that anyway, like at any possible.
Yeah.
If you have that chance and ability, you're probably going to want to do it anyway. Okay. So this next one, I'm really excited. Okay.
I almost said it.
So it's Miss Marvel, okay? So Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, is Sam Alexander's signature ally, okay? So she's a 3-cost ally with a 1 thwart, 1 attack, and 3 health. 1 consequential damage for both the thwart and the attack. She's a champion and an inhuman, okay? She has hero response. After you play an event, exhaust Miss Marvel and deal 1 damage to her. Return that event to your hand. Okay, so not totally new. Just like her hero form. Yeah. Her hero card. Okay, so her hero, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 1 defense, but her ability is Morphogenics response. After you play an attack, thwart, or defense event, you can exhaust Miss Marvel to return that event to your hand. So the fact that Sam Alexander has the ability to basically copy her ability in his deck is phenomenal. Yeah. My only request is let's make Miss Marvel a basic ally that can go in any deck. She doesn't even have to be basic, but put her in any of the aspects. That would be awesome.
Yeah, there's no way.
That would be phenomenal. Oh, there is a way. I think they'll do it. I think they can do it. That's my big request and hope for Kamala. Okay, so there's 2 events. There's 2 events that I'm really excited about.
Pot Shot
with with Nova and Miss Marvel. Okay,
yeah.
The 2 are Plan of Attack and Bring It. Okay, they are both 0-cost events, aggression events. Okay, now in evaluating Sam and kind of going through his cards in the card pool, I really landed on aggression. Because I really think that's where Sam's going to shine. He will come pre-built as an aggression deck, and they showed off a lot of new aggression cards, which are really good. So I kind of stuck with the aggression theme, and I think there's a lot of cards that are really going to work. So Plan of Attack is a 0-cost event tactic. Action. Search the top 4 cards of your deck. Top 7 cards instead, if you are in alter ego form, for an attack event and add that deck to your hand. Add that card to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Okay. So think about playing Plan of Attack, looking at your top 4 or top 7.
Yeah.
Exhaust Miss Marvel, get that card back to your hand, and now you're getting an attack. Okay. So you're building aggression.
Well, it does say a hero response, so it has to be the top 4. Miss Marvel.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. That's true. Yep. So you do have to be in hero form. Yeah. Good catch on that. Okay. So you are looking at the top 4. Okay. But the ability to do that twice is very good.
For no mana.
For none. You're paying 0. You're paying 0. So you are up. You are up. Essentially, you're going to be up 1 card. Because you play it the second time, you're not getting that card back to your hand. Okay. So the other one is Bring It, another 0 cost event. You can only play this once per phase, okay? But the ability to potentially play this 3 turns in a row, okay, is great. Hero action, draw 1 card for each minion engaged with you, okay? Now, again, very dependent upon the scenario and having minions engaged with you. But at even just one minion, you're up 1 card for 0, okay? So is that in and of itself great? Not the greatest.
Yeah.
Like just being up 1 card.
I'd rather look at the top 4 all day.
Yes, correct. In that case,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But in scenarios which are going to have minion after minion after minion after minion, you're going to be engaged with a lot of minions. Then you would probably want to swap in Bring It.
Yeah.
Like when in deck building, like I probably would not have both of these cards in the deck. I'd probably build it one or the other.
Right.
I mean, I would probably start with Plan of Attack first. Like that's what you build off of. And then in scenarios which there's going to be a lot of minions involved, I'd swap out Bring It for, I'd swap out Plan of Attack for Bring It.
That makes sense.
So that's probably what I would do.
The other thing I was thinking with Miss Marvel, right? Since you can only do this once per turn, right? The what was it? Plan of Attack to look at the top 4.
You could, yes.
So you could kind of spread it out to where it's like that 1 card. I'm gonna look at top 4 on the next turn. Once she don't even or you tap her, she deals a damage, you put the card back into your hand.
Yes.
The next turn you play it, you tap her, deal a point of damage, take that exact same card, put it back into your hand. So you could kind of extend over time the uses of that one specific card.
So even in well, hang on. When you say that one specific card, you're meaning, are you talking about Plan of Attack?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, yes, correct. Now, the other thing too is if you have ways which you're probably not going to have in aggression, I'm not sure. There's definitely more ways to do this in leadership than aggression, but the ability to restand Miss Marvel and then do it again in the same turn.
Okay.
Right. So you'd want that, but then also ways to heal her.
Right.
Like that's gonna be your best case scenario. But in that case, just play Miss Marvel, right? Like Miss Marvel is one of the characters, was one of the heroes that I'm like, this is so interesting and so cool.
Yeah. Like
the deck building options for Miss Marvel is awesome. And so now the fact that we can do that in another hero is very cool too. Is very cool. So those are the 2 cards that I kind of thought would go really, really well with Kamala Khan. Dude, all right, this next one, dude. Go ahead.
Okay, Unleashed Nova Force.
This is so good.
1 cost event superpower. Max 1 per round. Mind you, event. All right, we just talked about Miss Marvel.
Correct.
Hero action.
Return this every time. Return this every time with Miss Marvel.
Until the end. Hero action until the end of the round. Each time Nova defeats an enemy or removes the last threat from a scheme, ready Nova and draw 1 card.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
That is okay. All right. Okay, I've got a lot I want to say. So.
Wow.
There's a couple cards that I think that are interesting outside of Nova's cards. Okay. So here's a couple, right? So the first is Clear the Area. Now Clear the Area is justice, okay? So it's not aggression, okay? All right. So clear the area, cost 1. It's a thwart.
Okay.
It says hero action, thwart. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat on that scheme, draw 1 card.
Yeah.
Okay. So you play Unleash Nova Force first. Okay. If you have Miss Marvel, tap her, get it back. Okay. Now you do clear the area. Let's say it removes the last threat from a side scheme. You draw 2 cards. Draw 1 off of clear the area, then 1 off of Unleash Nova Force. Okay. And then if you have minions, you can attack with Nova. Okay. The thing you are gonna want to make sure that you do, okay, is you utilize Nova himself and his helmet first. You want to do that before destroying a minion or removing the last threat from a side scheme. You want it because you need to be able to maximize. You need max value.
Yeah.
So that means you use Nova and the helmet to pay for. Use the helmet to pay for everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's what you're gonna do. Okay. And so what that means is if you have Nova cards that are doubling your wild resources, like the 2 that we talked about already, Lightspeed Flight, and Pot Shot, which again, that's 4 damage and 3 threat.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not being down any cards. Okay, because let's say you have the helmet out. You're using the helmet, doubling your wild resources to pay for those cards. So you're not down any cards outside of the cards themselves to play them. Okay. So, I mean, again, you play clear the area, you're up 2 cards.
Yeah.
Right, because you got Nova Force back to your hand off of Miss Marvel. Play clear the area. You're only down that card, and then you go up 2 cards.
Yeah.
So that was the first one, clear the area. Now let's also say you can't have Valhalla out, unfortunately. Dang it. Valhalla is a Valkyrie card. It's a Valkyrie support. Response after so Unleash Nova Force is similar to Valhalla. It says response after Valkyrie attacks and defeats the enemy that has Deathglow attached. Exhaust Valhalla, draw 1 card and heal 1 damage from Valkyrie. So similar. That's a 2-cost support. So it's kind of similar to Unleash Nova Force there. And then the next one, this card is an aggression card. Chase them down. After your hero, 0-cost event. Okay, so pays for itself. After your hero attacks and defeats an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. That works really well with Unleash Nova Force.
Yeah. Because you're looking to do that anyway now.
Yeah. So my only question, and if you know this, you tell me, okay? Because of the wording on Unleash Nova Force, specifically, I don't know if Chase Them Down would work. Because Unleash Nova Force says, hero action. Until the end of the round, each time Nova defeats an enemy or removes the last threat from a scheme. Okay? Chase Them Down says response, thwart. After your hero attacks and defeats an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. That removing of the threat, would that count as Nova removing the threat because it's a response? That would be my question. So in that case, would removing the threat off Chase Them Down essentially trigger Unleash Nova Force, and you would 2 things, you'd ready Nova and draw that card. Would that work?
I think that other card is more of just the side effect.
I would think so too, because it says response. It just says response.
So it's not even hero response?
It's not hero response, it just says response.
So then I would
and it even states, after your hero attacks and defeats an enemy, remove 2 threats from a scheme.
Yeah.
It doesn't say your hero removes 2 threat. So that would be my guess. So if it were that way, then Chase Them Down, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Would be amazing.
Still a good combo.
For sure, yes.
Just because they synergize well with each other. So yeah, still pretty good. And not to mention, removing those 2 schemes could set you up.
Yes.
To then remove the last scheme or 2 more scheme or whatever it is.
So his base Thor is 1. So let's say you have a side scheme that's at 3 threat.
Yeah.
Okay. So you play Chase Them Down, removing that 2 threat. Now you can exhaust Nova.
And you get to re-stand up your helmet.
Exactly. Yep. Right, exactly. So you want to make sure you've used that helmet. But again, you're at the 3, play Chase Them Down, defeat an enemy, okay, using something else, okay? because you're at 3, chase them down, remove the 2, tap Nova to thwart for 1, and now you can restand and draw a card off of Unleash Nova Force.
Yeah.
So many possibilities with Unleash Nova Force. Those are just a few lines that I had thought of. Honestly, my thought with Nova is it's just you're gonna have a handful of cards like all the time, and then just play some cards. Okay, refill, play.
Right.
I feel like the bursts are gonna be awesome with Nova. The ability for all these bursts is gonna be cool.
Yeah, it'd be like a supernova.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You're not wrong. No, but that's actually a good point. Like, making. So I make this point about Disney villains a lot, where I say playing it really makes me feel like I am that villain trying to do the thing that they're doing. This game is very much the similar fashion, where the designers are doing an amazing job of making me feel like I am these characters and these heroes, and we're trying to defeat these villains. It's so good. It's so good. It's really good.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right. Talk about the next one.
Yeah. Connection to the Worldmind. It's a resource. It's a wild resource. Connection to the Worldmind does not count towards your hand size. So a wild resource card that doesn't count towards your hand is pretty good. You just set that thing off to the side, kind of forget about it until you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this card.
So initially, my thought was you'd want to draw into it at the end of your turn for a quote max value, but that doesn't really make it. That's not necessarily true, because since it doesn't count towards your hand size, it really doesn't matter when you draw it, because it's never counting against your hand size. So again, the fact that it's a wild resource means, again, when paying for a lot of these Nova cards, I mean, yes, Unleash Nova Force, that costs 1. So all the cards that we've seen, okay, this card can pay for all of them. Yeah. Except Miss Marvel. Okay. So Supernova Helmet cost 1. Unleash Nova Force cost 1. Oh. And then the 2 that cost 2, it's like they cost 1 if you pay for it with a wild.
Question: if you start with this card in your hand, do you get to draw another one? Or
it does. Since it doesn't count towards your hand size, you're an alter ego form. So if you draw this in your opening hand, you will have 7 cards in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a static ability.
Yeah.
That always is in effect.
Okay. I just didn't know if it counted, like, say, so at the start of the turn or start of the game, you just give yourself 6 cards or however many it is, or are you drawing one at a time?
I mean, at the start of the game, when you shuffle your deck, you draw 6 cards. Okay. So if you draw 6 cards at the start, okay,
because they say draw up to your max hand size, correct?
Correct. So let's say you draw into Connection to the Worldmind. Okay. You draw Connection to the Worldmind, you have 6 cards in your hand, but you have Connection to the Worldmind in your hand. Okay. You do not have 6 cards.
It's like,
have
I only have 5 cards.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, this card's just great.
Yeah, it's free value. Seriously.
It's free real estate.
Exactly. And that is never a bad thing.
Yeah, this card's really good.
So, all right. So there's really not much more to say, honestly. All right. So the next one. So those are all the Nova cards that were released in the article.
I think we messed up the order, but whatever. Because I did Nova Force along with the resource. That's all right.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So now we're moving into the aggression cards.
This card is so good.
So aggression cards. The first one is the Locust. The Locust is a 2-cost ally. The Locust is Fernanda Rodriguez. Okay.
Yes.
1 thwart, 1 attack. 1 thwart, 2 consequential damage. 1 attack, 1 consequential damage. 2 health. Energy resource. Now, she is a champion and says play only if your identity has the champion trait. As of right now, there's only 3. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Miss Marvel, and Ironheart. And now Nova.
And this guy.
And now Nova. Okay. Hero response. After the Locust enters play, add 1 aggression event from your discard pile to your hand.
Works really well with Miss Marvel.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, seriously, think about it. Like, let's just talk about plan of attack, right? So, if you know you have the Locust in your hand, okay, so you can play plan of attack twice. So you play plan of attack, tap Miss Marvel, take a damage, get that card back to your hand, then get that attack card into your hand.
Yep.
Play it again, okay? It is now in your discard pile. Draw top 4, get an attack, another one. So now you're up 2 cards. Actually, technically, you're up 1 card.
The card that you are searching for in the top 4, is it any card or
It's an attack.
Oh, okay.
It is an attack.
Okay.
Yes. So it has to be an attack. Right? That's the only stipulation. Has to be an attack.
Okay.
Which honestly would even work. So let's say, okay, you're in hero form with Miss Marvel on board. Okay, so you're in hero form. Play plan of attack. Look at top 4 because you're in hero form. Tap Miss Marvel. She takes damage.
Do you have to resolve the card that you play first before you can activate other cards? So if you play plan of attack, do you look at the top 4, take the one, and then you have to exhaust Miss Marvel?
she's a response.
Okay.
So it happens before. It should happen before the plan of attack resolves.
Okay, I was gonna say it'd be so much better if it's after it resolves, because then you're like, oh no, that's right, because you can only get an effect or an attack, and she can only do events, correct? Yeah.
She can only do
Return
she plays off
event.
an event.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So again, you're in hero form. You play plan of attack. Get it back to your hand. Switch over to alter ego. Play it again. Look at top 7 now, and now it goes to your discard.
Yeah.
Okay. Next turn, you play the Locust, getting the plan of attack back.
Yeah.
Like that is a line that's possible.
That's a lot of cards digging through.
Right, exactly.
That's a lot of cards.
Right. And it's so good. It's so good. Okay, so before we move on though, she's a champion. This cycle so far is the champions. My guess, here's my guess, okay, is so far we've got Spider-Man, Miles Morales, who is a champion, and then you have Gwen Stacy. She's a web warrior, not a champion. And then we have Ironheart, who is a champion.
Yep.
Okay. You've got Nova, who's a champion. The last 2, I'm assuming there's going to be 2 more hero packs. Again, historically, there's been 6 total heroes, right?
Man, I'm so glad we finally have Marvel champions.
Yeah. But here, question of the day: who do you think the next 2, most likely the last 2 heroes for this cycle are going to be? Here's my guess. Okay, I am guessing. This is the theory. Okay, is the next one we have Vivian Vision, who is Vision's daughter. Okay, she is a champion. Okay, and then the last one of the cycle is Cyclops, and then we go, which makes us go into the X-Men for the next set. That's what I'm saying. Changed my mind. Ow, I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's real, but that's what I think. That'd be cool. The thing that I love about this game though is just there's so many characters in this universe that they can explore. People have been asking for X-Men for a long time, but it's like they don't have to do the X-Men. There's so many out there, so many teams. So that's just what I think. I mean, you've got.
So I don't know all the characters that have been released.
Oh, that have been released?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot. I've got them. I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
There's a lot.
Has Deadpool been released already?
No, not yet. Because the thing is, so
when we get to X-Men, we'll have Deadpool.
Gwenpool is on the champions team.
Okay.
There is a moment where Gwenpool is on the champions.
Okay.
So there's a lot here. Before we get down the rabbit hole, Jim, let's talk about the next card.
Honestly, I hope the alter ego for Deadpool just says Ryan Reynolds.
The ultimate crossover.
Yeah. All right, so this next card is probably my favorite in the entire list, honestly. I love this thing. 1 cost, it's called Pitchback. 1 cost event, so it can be brought back with Miss Marvel. Aerial attack. Play this only if you have the aerial trait. Attack response, hero response attack. After your hero attacks, deal 4 damage to an enemy.
So that doesn't have to be a basic attack either.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. That's a great thing about this card, actually. Is it's just a response to any attack.
The thing I really like about this card is I want to play it with Ironheart because she already has the ability to restand herself as well on multiple cards.
Okay.
So
what's the line? What's the line here?
Well, it's more so just like throwing more damage on top of already attacking.
So the burst damage is what is getting you excited.
Yeah.
But speaking of burst damage, Nova has just so many chances for a lot of burst damage.
Yeah.
And that's what is really exciting about
the crazy
Nova.
part about it is like when you're bursting, right? It shouldn't be consistent. Except I can see consistent bursting happening with this guy.
No, right.
So much.
But seriously though, that's why I love Plan of Attack.
Yeah.
That's why I love it. That makes that consistency. You're just constant searching.
Yeah.
So I mean, the ability to potentially search for 8 cards in one turn.
Yeah.
Playing Plan of Attack twice. Okay. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
What happens to the cards? Do you reshuffle or is it like discarded?
Reshuffle.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so good.
Yeah.
You reshuffle your whole deck. So you look at top 4, pick one that's an attack, and then just reshuffle the remaining 3 in your cards.
Okay.
So that's what I love.
Pretty good.
All right. So the next card is 1/1 is a 1-cost event. It is an attack. Hero action attack. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats that enemy, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So, again, these 1-cost events are really good.
There's always a lot of 2 damage heroes or villains that will fight you. So you can just set it up to where it's like, all right, this one card's going to take out 2 cards.
Yes. But think about that with Unleash Nova Force.
Well, you only get the draw 1, correct?
Yeah, you just get the draw 1.
Okay, yeah.
But again, it's until each time Nova defeats an enemy. So let's say you play 1/1 and you defeat 2 enemies. You can only restand them once because it'll resolve all at the same time, I think. I believe so. But you would draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
You draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
So you're losing out on a little bit of value, but again, 1 cost for 4 damage. If you can pay 1 cost for 4 damage, phenomenal.
Pitchback.
Yes, exactly. Right?
I like this card too, because again, it's the 4 damage, but it's now spread out amongst different things.
So you really play 1/1 first, and then Pitchback as the response. Really good. Really good. All right. Go ahead and read the next one. Oh, well, hang on. 1/1. We do have artwork now for Moon Girl, because that's Moon Girl with the red T-Rex. I believe she is on the Champions team. All right, well,
she's gonna be aggressive, I think.
The one, talking about the artwork that's on all these cards. When are we gonna get Daredevil? Get me Daredevil, please, please, Daredevil. Oh, I cannot wait for Daredevil. I'm very interested to see how they're going to design him.
All right, I'm about to make a bad joke. His ability is you play with your hand face down.
That's so good, but it's so bad.
I got canceled, didn't I?
Read the next card.
All right, next card. This one is called Fluid Motion. It's a 1-cost upgrade. Skill, Hero Response. After you play an attack event, exhaust this card. Your hero gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. Max 1 per attack event.
Yeah, so you can only, you have to exhaust the card.
Yeah.
So after you play an attack, you exhaust it. So that's really wanting you. That's pretty restrictive because it's looking at your hero's basic attack.
Yeah.
So it doesn't trigger. It doesn't add anything to just any old attack card. Okay. It has to be an attack card that cares about your hero's basic attack strength.
Yep.
So in that case, it's pretty restrictive. But again, any opportunity to boost that stat is always good. So I don't know how I feel about this card, to be quite honest with you.
It's just okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so, all right. Well, let's talk about this next card. It is Everyday Hero. It is a resource. It is a wild resource.
That matters.
That matters. While your identity has the civilian trait, this card can be spent for any player and gains the text response. After you spend this card for a player, heal 1 damage from that player's identity. Okay. So, so far there are four civilians in 4 civilian identities in the game. We have Sam Alexander, you have Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, you have Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, and then Miles Morales, Spider-Man. So those are the only 4 heroes so far that have the civilian trait. Now, what I do like about this is anybody can use this card, and honestly, who wouldn't? Because it's a wild resource. So if you need wild resources in your deck, you're going to think about slotting this into one of your resource slots for sure. But I mean, honestly, the benefit to civilians is, I mean, it's not bad because it's healing. It can be spent for anybody and heals them 1. Yeah. So that's actually pretty good. I do like that because there's a lot of options. Which I'll take the 1 heal for sure.
Aside from that, how many times have you been like, I really wish I had 1 more mana.
Yes,
I wish I had that 1
very
more
true.
thing.
Very true. That's very true. So that is a good. This is a good resource card. I said this in the Ironheart video. I'm really liking these resources that do so many different things.
The only downside I also see about this with Nova is you don't really want to be in your civilian form, or at least
no. It says while your identity.
Oh, does it?
It doesn't just say alter ego. Yes, your identity is both sides.
Oh, okay, yes. All right, then we're good. Great card for Nova.
I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If it is, it's great. If it's not,
well, you know what? No, I think that would only check in your alter ego form because the alter ego has the trait civilian.
Yeah.
The hero form only has the trait champion. So that's what I think. Let me know. Let us know if we're wrong there. Be very interested because if we'd only get that trigger in alter ego, then it's worse, obviously. But it's still a good card. Yeah, I think so. All right.
Especially for Sam, because regardless, he's getting that wild resource.
Correct. So. Correct. So okay. Jim, you want to read the next one?
Yeah. No quarter. 2-cost event. It's an attack, requires physical.
Which again, if you're playing wild resources, don't matter. Your wilds count for whatever.
Hero action attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. For each point of excess damage dealt to that enemy by this attack, discard the top card of your deck and add each aggression red card discarded this way to your hand.
So right away, 2 costs for 4. 2 costs for 4 is good. 2 costs for 4 is good. Right? Only thing that's better is 1 cost for 4. Okay.
But this could get you cards.
Exactly. So best case scenario is you're up 3 cards. Or you're drawing 3 cards, I should say. That's best case scenario. Okay. Yeah. Because you attack for 4. Let's say you're dealing damage to an Ultron drone, a 1/1. Okay. So that's 3 points of excess damage. Discard 3. They're all aggression cards. Add those cards to your hand.
Yep.
This is what I'm talking about burst. About that bursting. Because normally you'd say, oh no, I am down now 3 cards in hand. Because I'm down 3 cards in hand. I'm down the card that I played and the cards that I used to pay for it. Okay. So now I have less cards to play and less resources. Well, now I've just refilled my hand from that 1 card. So no quarter, I think, is a great card. The only downside is that it has that physical requirement.
Yeah.
You know, I just realized something. These requirements are very much like to the colors in Magic.
Yeah.
Very similar. So again, and I really like that. I like that. So, what are your thoughts before I talk about
so now thinking about, like, you know, going off of the whole bursting thing, you know, you're down cards in hand, or at least you should be. Kinda, because again, the helmet provides you that one wild resource,
yeah.
and then when you attack with Nova or Thort, whatever it is, you get to restand the helmet.
Yes,
so it's like,
good.
so it's like, yeah, sure, you're kind of down these like cards in hand in theory, or at least you should be. But the helmet is now providing you, you know, just going off of this list, how many cards are at least well, every single card we can pay for with the helmet, because the
Except
pot
for
shot,
Miss Marvel.
yeah, Miss Marvel,
The
and
only
no
thing.
quarter as well. Because that doesn't double.
That's true. Yeah.
So the helmet just pays for every single thing in his deck pretty much, or you make it to where it does. So then that way your burst phase is I pay the one cost with the helmet, attack with the dude to restand the helmet, and then I can use the helmet again, and then I still have 3-4 more cards chilling in hand before I did anything else.
Yeah.
This guy is, it seems very consistent.
Yeah, so I'm going to be very interested to get the whole pack to see his whole kit.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested about that. Okay, so before we move into the modular set, okay, I'm very honestly, I didn't say this enough in the Ironheart video. Very excited about that. Very excited about the fact that we have more encounter cards that are just coming in these packs, and not just scenario cards. Right. We'll talk about that in a minute. Before we move on to the encounter set, okay? There's a couple of aggression cards that I wanted to point out that are like some of my favorites that I'm excited about with Nova specifically. Okay. So the first being Clobber. I think Clobber's a great card. It's a 2-cost event. It's a 2-cost attack event with a physical resource. Says hero action attack. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. If this is the first card you played this round, return this card to your hand.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2 costs.
It's 2 costs.
2 costs for 3. Okay.
Wow.
Which is pretty standard. Okay. 2 costs for 3, but with the potential to get that back to your hand. So you have the potential to play this 3 times if you can pay for it.
Yeah.
With Miss Marvel on board.
Yeah. And you're saying it's no. I keep confusing the look at the top 4 for an event card. It's you get an attack card.
It is an event, but yeah, you get an attack.
Oh, you were saying it's also an attack card though, correct?
No, what I'm saying is plan of attack is an event itself.
Yes.
But it searches for attacks.
Okay. It searches for an attack.
Which attacks are events.
Yeah.
Attacks are event
Okay,
cards.
I got you.
An
so
attack
then,
is
you
a
could search for
subtype,
this card.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yes, this is an attack, correct?
Yeah.
You can go plan of attack to get Clobber,
Yeah.
but then that would not be the first card you played this round.
Yeah, but then you just don't set it up to where Miss
Right.
Marvel.
Right, correct.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, you don't get to look at the top 4 cards until you decide Miss Marvel's effect or not, correct?
Correct. Yes. Okay. You have to do Miss Marvel's thing first.
Right.
Because it is a response.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Because then it's a response. I believe it's when you play it. Let me just double check her thing. Yep. After you play an event. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that was the first one. Clobber was the first one. The next one is Into the Fray. I think Into the Fray is an amazing aggression card. The 3-cost event is a 3-cost attack event. Hero action attack deals 6 damage to a minion. For each point of excess damage dealt by this attack, remove a threat from the main scheme. Again, think about that with Unleash Nova Force. Yeah. Think about that with Unleash Nova Force. And again, would that trigger, would the removing of the threat
it states, yeah, I don't think it would, because it's the card effect itself that states
the only question for this one is it is a hero action.
So, all right, read the card to me.
So the card is a hero action attack. Deal 6 damage to a minion. For each point of excess damage dealt by this attack, remove 1 threat from the main scheme.
Okay. So it's your attack is the 6 damage. If you killed something with the Supernova or Nova Force, if you kill something with that 6, which you pretty much are, exactly. You'll then be able to restand, draw a card, and then whatever damage is left over would then be removed from the scheme.
Right, but would that trigger Unleash? Would the removing of the threat? I
don't believe it would.
I think it would. Hear me out here. Lightspeed Flight, that 2-cost event, it's a hero action Thort. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. That's what it states.
Right. is it for that other card? Is there like any
Unleash Nova Force?
No. The other card we just
Into
went
the
over.
fray?
Yeah. Is there like any more punctuation after the deal damage?
Deal 6 damage to a minion. Period.
Yeah.
For each point of excess
Okay.
damage dealt by this attack, comma, remove 1 threat from the
Right.
main
So
scene.
everything, I would think everything else after that first sentence, is card effect, not so much your character now doing this.
Okay. That's a good point. That's a good point. But again, these are questions that I would want.
Yeah.
I'd
love for clarification.
Right. As a deck builder, you always want clarification, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to know how your deck is going to function. Okay. Okay. So the next one, Dive Bomb. Dive Bomb, obviously awesome. 4-cost event. Play aerial attack. Play only if your identity has aerial.
Which we will.
Hero action attack. Deal 7 damage to an enemy. Deal 1 damage to each other enemy.
Wow.
So 4-cost event. Dude, that's good.
Wow.
And then the last one, Drop Kick, 3-cost attack event. Hero action attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. If you paid for this attack using your only physical resources, stun that enemy and draw a card. So Drop Kick is good.
Can we go back to that previous card where you said it
Dive
dealt
Bomb?
7 damage?
7 damage to an enemy.
Period, then 1 to everything else?
Correct.
Okay. If it was just like, and deal 1 to everything, it would, I think it would be amazing. But
What does that have to do?
so like we were going off of the previous card, after a period, I would think it's then card effect. If it was deal 7 damage, comma, and 1 to everything, I think it would all count for like the Nova Force.
I think this still counts for Unleash Nova Force.
Okay.
Because it specifically says deal 1 damage to each other enemy. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. That resolves. Deal 1 damage to each other enemy.
Again, I just think it's because of punctuation that changes it.
We'd have to look at those. I don't think you're correct.
Okay.
I think that. Yeah, I think if you dealt 1 damage to another enemy and that killed them, if you had played Unleash Nova Force would.
Honestly, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because that makes it so much better.
Now, granted, you are going off of your knowledge
Yeah.
of Magic.
Yeah.
And the way the Magic rules interact.
Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, like all the card games.
Correct. So I just want to make that note.
Yes.
Okay. So drop kick into press the advantage. Press the advantage is a 1-cost attack event. Hero action attack. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If that enemy is stunned or confused, draw a card.
Ooh.
So if you stun them off of drop kick,
card, yeah.
you're drawing 2 cards.
Wow.
Which that's not just Nova, but again, I am excited to build that into this shell.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be really, really, really good.
Because then it gives you a really good setup for crowd control too.
Exactly.
Which
for sure.
You're gonna need to crowd control this guy that we're about to talk about.
Yep. All right, go ahead, Jim.
I hate him so much. Armadillo. Minion, I hate him. He's 8 health, 1 scheme, 2 attack.
And we should note that those have asterisks.
Yeah.
Both of them do.
All right, so he has toughness. Okay, so he comes in with a tough counter. Armadillo can have any number of tough status cards, and then after Armadillo activates against you, give him a tough status card. I hate him.
So the only saving grace is that he's not a villain and a minion. Because if he were a villain, he'd be activating multiple times per turn based off of number of players.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's good about it. That's it.
I don't like this next card.
Oh man, Armadillo is just I don't like it. Now, I did say this to Jim beforehand though. I really like the design. I really like where they're going with the design and the things that are really, really
In theory,
cool.
we like what they're doing.
Yes.
We don't like what they're doing.
We're going to hate playing against it. Everybody's going to hate playing against it. I feel like this is probably going to be one of the encounter cards that you build a deck and you're like, oh, this is so awesome. Yeah, but can
it beat Armadillo?
The Armadillo encounter set, modular set? That'll be the test.
For me, it'll be like, Dan will be like, oh, I'm playing Nova. I'm like, no, you're not.
Well, you don't necessarily have to play the encounter set.
Oh, okay. Well, so I thought
This is not his nemesis.
Okay, these aren't the cards on the side.
No, this is not the cards on the side. These are not the
okay.
nemesis minions. No.
All right,
this
good.
is a modular encounter set that you can play with anybody.
Okay, cool.
You
We're
can play
never
with
playing
anybody.
this guy.
All right, so the next card is Rollin. It is a condition attachment +2 attack, and that also has an asterisk. Attach Armadillo. If Armadillo is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Armadillo, put him into play, engage with you, and attach this card to him. Great, so it's like you have another copy of Armadillo, but this one's way worse. And it also says, Star, while Armadillo has a tough status card, characters cannot defend against his attacks. Oh my goodness, that sucks so much.
Question, what is the asterisk for?
It says +2 attack, asterisk.
Yeah, but what is the asterisk for?
While Armadillo has a tough status card.
Oh, it's a star. It's not really an asterisk, though.
Well, I say asterisk. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
It's
Because
the
I
same
was
thing.
thinking it would just be like, oh, and some other random card would be like, and for every toughness he gets +1 attack or something. That's like what I was waiting
be quiet.
for. I'm like,
Just be quiet. No. Let's not do that.
okay, so they're just saying it's on attack or on scheme. He gets this effect, which is the force response.
Are you talking about the Armadillo minion card?
Both. It's correct. Yeah. So it's just an added effect.
Correct.
Really. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
After he attacks or activates, give him a tough status card. That's all it's saying.
Yeah.
That's it. So Armadillo, the minion, does have 3 boost icons, and Rollin has 2 boost icons. So, and then Jimbo, why don't you read the last one for us?
I don't wanna. I'll read it. I hate him so much. Armadillo, not Dan. Tough it out, which is hilarious because I didn't want to read it, so I'm gonna have to tough this out. Treachery. When revealed, give Armadillo and the villain each a tough status card. If one or fewer tough status cards were given this way, this card gains Surge.
So if you just get one, it's gain Surge. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh yeah, so it's just like if you're only versing the villain, you give him the tough status and then you have Surge on top of it?
So if Armadillo's not in play, the villain gets a tough status card and it's Surge.
Wow.
So again, I think this encounter set this modular set is really going to be really taxing against those aggressive decks, aggressive rush decks that are just trying to beat down.
The stuff I like to play.
Yes, correct. That's what I think this is going to be built to counter. Wow. So you're really going to, I don't know if those strategies are going to work against this particular encounter set.
Yeah, this is hard.
Yeah. So, Jim, final thoughts. What are your final thoughts here? Final thoughts and favorite card revealed so far from this set.
All right. So my favorite card revealed is probably Pitchback, and 1x1. Those.
Okay.
And
not surprising.
And the Locust. Honestly, I just like all of those cards because again, you can play it in any aggression deck, and they're all just really strong. I really like the Pitchback on with Ironheart as well. Just like we were talking about earlier, because you can
to add 4 damage.
Add the 4 on top of it, and it's after you attack. So if you have like 2 of these, you could then you attack once. You play the Pitchback. You can then restand her.
Yeah, and respond
from her one ability, which is remove 6 progress counters, restand her, and then evolve her to the next tier. So as long as you're on turn on the second version of her, which she already has Aerial in that form, so then you can play this after attacking, restand her, go into version 3 as well. You can then reattack.
You don't necessarily have to do that. You can play Pitchback twice because Pitchback will see itself.
Okay.
Pitchback sees itself.
I got you. So
because
then
and
you could just do that too.
Yeah.
So even if you're in version 3 and then can't restand, you just Pitchback 2 of these.
So
I love it.
So for me, I think my favorites revealed.
Miss Marvel?
I do like Miss Marvel. So Miss Marvel, connection to the Worldmind. I just that value with connection to the Worldmind is just that works in every form. Works in every form. Works in alter ego and works in hero. It's just a free card in your hand that when played, honestly, so far, I think that's
Nova
my favorite.
Force. Connection to the Worldmind's the resource.
Yes. I'm talking about connection.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the combo of other card with her. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the connection to Worldmind.
Gotcha.
It's just so great. And yeah, like if you think about Unleash Nova Force with Miss Marvel, turn after turn after turn. I mean,
you're just always prepared.
You always have that card in your hand.
Yeah.
If you can find ways of healing your ally, oh man.
Yeah.
And that's why I like this game. Like as being co-op, you can pair these heroes together. Oh, it's so cool.
There's also
I love this game.
There's also an aggression card. I've played it a few times and from the base set, and it's and it's +1 attack, and I can put it on you or me.
Oh, it's the upgrade.
Yeah, the upgrade.
The upgrade.
I forget what it's called.
I know what it is. I mean, I don't remember the name of the card.
So the part that's really good with the Nova Force is if you have that card on your guy, it then puts him to 2 attack, right? There's
combat training.
Okay. There tends to be a lot of minions that come into play that have 2 HP. So you can just set it up to where it's like, oh, play Nova Force, go kill this one, restand, draw a card. All right, well, there's another one out on board. Let me go kill this one, restand. And then there's also
and you're restanding your helmet.
Yes, and you're restanding the helmet.
It's like, dude, like the combos. It's so cool. It's so cool.
And the 1x1, right? You're dealing 2 damage here, 2 damage here.
2 and 2, yeah.
If there's multiple monsters, that have 4 HP, or even 1 after you kill like 2s, you're like, oh, kill this 2, hit this other guy for 2 with the effect, and then re-attack him for 2 more damage in doing another Nova Force draw trigger and restanding, and then you're just like, all right, whatever. I got a lot of value.
Yes.
And he's super bursty.
So my favorite thing about Nova, is in our context specifically, talking about me and Jim. Jim loves aggression.
Yeah.
Right? He's very aggro, red-minded, okay?
Yeah.
Me, I'm all about max value. I'm all about value.
This is both.
Right? This is exactly, it's both. It's you are getting that burst damage and you are maximizing that value that you're getting off of that burst damage. So it's you have the potential I'm seeing to turn 3 turns into 1 turn with like the amount of damage that you can do because you're doing that damage refilling, like that potential is there.
Yep.
Like the kit in the shell, like it's there. It's just up to you to build that deck. And I think it's gonna be relatively easy to build that deck. So yeah, that's all we got for this. I'm really excited for Nova. And I am excited. I'm excited about these videos in particular. I'm having a lot of fun with these. So
this is a blast.
I am excited for more. Again, that theory crafting we love it so much. So we've got ideas about different types of videos that we're going to be doing for Marvel Champions. But let's get more heroes. I'm excited for 2022 and what 22 has still in store for Marvel Champions. So if you haven't yet, keep watching our Marvel Champions content. We're doing a lot more gameplay. We've got another one coming down the pipe. We're going to finish out that core set, and then we're going to go on to building our own decks and crushing the competition, right?
I'm ready.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for being here. We've gone on long enough. So we will catch you in the next video. All right. See you, everybody.
Take care.